Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit of a story time. I'm really going to be talking about how the fact that I have been a survivor. I'm not going to call myself a victim, but I have been a survivor of being gang stalked and also like organized gang stalking as well as MK Ultra. People think that this is a conspiracy theory, but it's not. Some of the things that I have experience in my life is very hard to explain, but if I try to tell it to the average person, they'll try to make you look like you're crazy. Okay, so I have always been a highly intelligent kid. Like all throughout elementary school, I made straight A's. Now, when I was in, and like I would always get these awards, like I was always being honored for being an extremely smart kid. Like I was like one of the smartest kids out of my city, one of the smartest kids out of my state. Like I placed in our math derby at school. Like I won like second place, third place a couple times. Like I was a real smart kid. You know, somewhere along the lines when I was in elementary school, my I started going to this research thing where they would basically pay you $100 to basically go. This is at UAB. So if you live in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, you know what UAB is. So I kept going to like this research study. I never signed up for this. My parents or my mother signed me up to basically let them like study me, and basically it was like how I responded to trauma. Like, and this went on for a while. Like every different level that I would experience. Like I remember doing this when I was in elementary school, when I went to middle school, and then when I went to high school. But when I got ready to go to college, like I stopped going because I felt like something was weird. It's like I started to wake up to something. I started to wake up to be like, why are y'all like, what made it really weird is that they would literally like harangue me to come down there to do this research study. And pretty much the research study was basically to analyze like how I handled trauma throughout the experiences in my life. Like I remember like my parents went through a divorce when I think I was like 10 or 11 years old. And this is while I was transitioning from elementary school to high school. And I remember that's one of the things that they would ask me. And pretty much they would make you feel like you were basically being compensated $100. That's what you would get to do the research study. And I did it, I want to say 2 or 3 different times. And my mother was aware of me and she kept trying to be like, you should go, you should go. But I'm like, this is weird. Like one thing that let me know that something was weird is because I kept declining it. Like these people were calling me like every other month to come do this. And I remember I used to live with my grandmother. Okay. And like it would still go on even when I moved. Like it would go on for the latter part of my 20s. They eventually stopped. Like I changed my phone number a lot of different times and they eventually stopped messaging me to like pretty much do this or calling me. But I even remember one time like I moved from my grandmother's house to my mom's house, and I never gave them a change of address. They would also start writing me while I lived with my mother, and I said, why are y'all stalking me? Like why are you trying to force me to do this research study? And I mean, I'm basically saying I don't want to do it. It's because my parents had basically agreed for me to do this. Like they were really like analyzing the trauma. I went through a lot of traumas in my life as a little kid. Like even though to the average eye, it would look like I had a good life. Like I went through a lot of things. Like my parents had a very tumultuous relationship and they got divorced when I was young. My dad took me through a lot of psychological abuse. Like my father was a drug addict. He was on crack and he would smoke, he would drink. Eventually this led to him having a lot of like health issues. So I never forget one, like my father is also someone who has went to the mental institution, and this happened a lot when I was young. Like he got admitted, I want to say, to the mental institution either once or twice. But he always had like a lot of mental episodes that we would blame on like drugs or one time. But I remember one time when I think I was about 7 or 8 years old. This is like during the time frame my parents were about to get a divorce, or the relationship was really bad. My mother was threatening on leaving my father, and we started living with my granny. Like, we had a house fire, I want to say, when I was about 8 years old. Well, I don't know. We had a house fire when I was either like 7. Like, we stayed in like a hotel for a very long time, and we never actually ended up moving back to our house. But during this time frame, like, my father was really going through a lot of episodes because my mother was threatening to leave him. And I never forget, one day my daddy was being very suicidal, and it was very like traumatizing for me. Like, my mother would send me into the house to go check on my father, and one day I went in the house and he left like this note. And this note, it was like 2:51 a.m. bye-bye. And it was like a suicide note. And like, imagine being a child and this is like what you are seeing. Like, my mother would do this a lot. Like, I would also stay at home a lot by myself when I was a kid. And my father would put me in a lot of like weird predicaments. It wasn't like sexual abuse or nothing like that. It was more so like psychological abuse. Like, I was mothering both my parents. Like, they were going through a lot. Like, my father would talk to me a lot as if I was a grown person. But mind you, I'm like a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid. And I'm having to deal with this. And psychologically, nobody, like, it's like I've had to hide all of this my whole fucking life. Like, I feel like my parents were part of the psychological abuse that I went through. And I also feel like they had certain ties to like government entities and things of that sort. Like, they put me in positions and put me in situations to pretty much like test my strength and test like my ability to overcome certain things. But as a kid, it's a lot to go through. So, and also too, you know, a lot of us, our parents are products of like Masons, you know, they are Eastern Stars and stuff like that. These organizations, you have to do a lot to be able to stay within these organizations. And my dad was a Mason, and I'm still to this day not ever really sure of like what that shit really is, but it's a lot of things that I've endured with that. So it's like, from the ages of like 7 to like 10, it was a lot of weird things going on like within my family life, but people would keep it quiet. Like, people thought I was a really like spoiled ass kid, and I really didn't talk much about the things that I endured and the things that I like went through with my parents. Like, and it's like, as I've gotten older, I feel like the more that I've tried to speak out about certain things, people try to make me look like that didn't happen, or I'm just very crazy and irate. But I realized that this has been going on since I was a kid. But when you're a kid, you're automatically being governed by your parents. As I started to get older, it's like, when I started to try to move away from like my family, I would have all these weird ass things that would happen to me to where I would have to stay with my folks. It's like I could not leave up under the guise of my parents. If so, I was going to struggle. Like, when I want to say this is back in 2016 or I want to say it was 2015, 2016. I moved out for the first time. I moved out with a roommate, and, you know, I did everything right. One of the main reasons why I moved out was because I was living with my grandmother and my uncle was in jail. And I just really didn't want to be around the environment that came with my uncle. Like, my uncle, like, he had different type of women. He had a lifestyle that I just really didn't want to have to live under the same roof. And plus, it was going to be very crowded. So I basically planned to move out with my friend at the time. And, you know, I did everything right. I ended up getting a job. Like, I got a really decent job. I got a job working under my mother, you know. And then I ended up like getting the job. We got approved for the apartment, and we ended up moving in like January or February of, I want to say, 2017, if that's the case. And, you know, it's like I was preparing. My uncle was supposed to get out of jail in August of that year. So it's like, I just wanted to go ahead. Like, I was a very thorough child. Like, I feel like this is around the age of me being like 24, 25, something like that. Like, I'm 33 now. So if this is about 10 years ago, I was about 23, 24. I feel like I was very smart in how I was planning certain things. Let's go on to the second video.